It's the TNP version of a midnight desert shoot. Fun. Find it?
Yep.
Two for two. Three.
Spotting. That's a hit, dead center. I was at the very bottom of the plate too. Were ya? Hit.
Nice bolt on this Vanguard. Really nice bolt. Good ejection too.
Nice.
We're going to open this rifle review with a little bit of house cleaning as I attempt to dehair the reviewing table from my girlfriend, Allie the Mountain Dog. Dang, she throws hair everywhere. Apparently she was in this room earlier and I could tell. Are your guys' dogs that way? If you lose them, just follow the trail of hair. Especially when she goes to the vet. I mean, man, she freaks. Popping hair everywhere. Dang, do we love her. She's doing good, by the way. Thank you for asking. Thank you for your support, your friendship over all these years here in the Nut and Fancy Project. And while I'm tempted to talk about dogs, we're going to get into rifles. And people who follow the Nut and Fancy Project over all these years know that I have a certain philosophy. It is based in logic. I call it philosophy of use. What makes sense? On the table are two Series 1 Weatherby Vanguard bolt action rifles. That's what we're going to talk about. And actually this review will serve for the Series 2 as well. They're very similar to the effect that what I'll talk about here will play for Series 2 Vanguard. Back to philosophy of use though. Granted, these colorations did not come from the factory. I'll talk about that as we move along. They have some modifications to them. We're going to talk about that very soon because it drives to the heart of philosophy of use for these rifles. Now, you dudes who have been following TNP know that I am an advocate of what I call a sapper. Semi-automatic precision rifle. 308 battle rifle that can shoot one MOA. I love that rifle. If things get serious, if I need to throw some lead accurately and do it a lot, I want a sapper. But perhaps for SAWC you cannot take one. Perhaps for where you live you won't have one. In which case you might want to run a bolt gun.
Trigger as well.
Let me just say, on these specific rifles, the Weatherby Vanguard series, and also I'm going to roll into that the Howa series, if I can't have a sapper, these guns are going to be very close, let's just say top 10 rifles in the chamberings I'd like. I'm talking 308, maybe some other ones, that I would like to take with me in a tactical situation. There are several reasons why. One, they are extremely accurate, as we have seen in testing these since 2009. Dang. Yeah, seriously, since 2009 we've been shooting, not this one, but that one's been in the project since 2009. They're reliable. There is a data point I want to share with you along those lines later in the review. They're ergonomic and they're lightweight. But more importantly, they have some serious firepower. And we're going to kick off the philosophy of use with this, kind of going backwards, because usually I don't talk about firepower until later in the review. We're going to talk about it now. And for you guys who own a Weatherby Vanguard and have been watching my videos, either or, you may know where I'm going with this, because I've already talked about this conversion for these rifles, and it is fabulous. It transforms these guns. This is a Legacy Sports magazine conversion for the Weatherby Vanguard series of rifles. And it freaking rocks. For instance, you can get 5 rounders, 10 rounders, polymer. Okay, and getting back to that philosophy of use, I'm going to say light tactical rifle first and foremost with this Legacy Sports conversion, which if we jump into the Legacy Sports catalog right here, oh yeah, there's the details on it right there. You can see the round or the calibers: 223, 204, 22, 252, blah blah blah. 308 is the one I'm interested in. Now we have to start the video off with this because it is so critical to that philosophy of use. A light tactical rifle. I probably would not say a light tactical rifle if you have a rounds count of 4 rounds. Maybe if you have a detachable magazine capability where you can cycle them in. The FNTSR comes to mind. However, that's not light. These guns are light. I mean really light. Without the scope, the Carbine version, which we have on the table, highly tested. This is a 20-inch barrel. Look at that. Naked. Naked. 7 pounds. The rifle here, these are Series 1s, and so the Series 2 weights will be very similar. But I'm just going to throw it out at 7 pounds, 6 ounces for a 24-inch barreled bolt-action rifle. I think if we say light tactical rifle, we need to underline, bold, italic the word light. On this table, we have seen some amazing bolt guns. I've reviewed some amazing bolt guns. They are, however, not light usually. They're going to run outfitted with glass, I would say 11 pounds, 10 pounds if you're smart about which mounts and rings you use. If I have to move fast, we're getting back to that philosophy of use intro. And I can't take a sapper. By the way, sappers are generally not that light. They're going to have a steel magazine. They're going to be around, again, 10 pounds, 11 pounds, depending on how guys outfit them. We've seen several on the table. I reviewed some that I absolutely love. M1A would be an example, but that's not a lightweight gun. Let's say for whatever reason we're running a bolt gun, we want to run a bolt gun. This is a great option with this magazine conversion. 10 rounds for the Legacy Sports magazine conversion. First, a note on the Duracoat job. Why did you do it? Because it's cool. That's why. And for the philosophy of use of this gun. Running it in a desert environment. I don't like black rifles out in my theater of operations. Do you? They stick out. They absorb heat. I've talked all about this. You should do something. Freaking spray paint it if you want, but break up those lines. That's why. This is Magpul Flat Dark Earth Coloration, and I totally forget what this is. It's been 5 years since I Duracoated this one. This is a sage green though. I really like the color combination. Look how sick that is. Really cool, and it blends. I'm going to roll in photos of this out in the sagebrush where we are. It really blends. And it's not a camo pattern. I like the multicam patterns, probably the best, especially the condensed multicam or variations thereof. Really a great breakup pattern. You can't even detect the gun. But honestly, there's so many different colorations of the guns, actually from the factory nowadays. You don't even have to go to that much trouble. Light tactical rifle with this conversion. 10 rounds, so 10 plus 1. And these are reliable, if you're wondering. We've shot the heck out of them. We've spent a lot of money testing these guns with this magazine conversion, and these are both 308 guns, and 100% reliable. That's not the only good thing. They won't break the bank. I mean, if you get some Badger Ordnance bottom metal, one, it's going to be heavy, it's going to be thick. I'm talking like a RIM 700 or something. It's just overkill. It's not a light tactical. It's a great range rifle. Maybe a team rifle, you're sitting on a rooftop for 6 hours. But for someone who wants to be high speed and they're booking, they want to pop a few shots and go, this is a gun I'd take. Getting back to philosophy of use, I'm not taking one of those big ones. I can't do it. I'm not strong and fast enough to do it. This I can take. This weighs nothing. Here's one that's unduracoated on the rifle version. You can see what it looks like. I'm talking the Legacy Sports magazine conversion. And I was not immediately sold. I was like, well, that's cool, but is it tough? Is it durable? Will it break? I didn't see any of those issues in our testing. And again, it was a lengthy test. For the magazine conversion, this has been running for about, not quite a year, but pretty close to it. There is one downside to the Legacy Sports that I really don't like. Legacy, you should correct this. This magazine spring sucked bad. I mean, it was really weak to the point where, let's say you're running the 5-rounder here. This is also Magpul Flight Dark Earth Coloration. And I just roughed those up with steel wool and shot them with Durcoat. Easy. But I was afraid with this paddle right here, the retention would suck. So I'm carrying it back here and I just accidentally dropped my magazine. Not good, especially if you intend to get serious with this rifle. You have to. WROL, defending home and property, all the stuff we talk about and believe in here in TNP. Thank you very much. So I took this actually to Yoda, Terry Gardner, Impact Guns, and I said, hey dude, can you make me some new springs for this? And he did, out of scratch. He like wound new springs for this paddle, so we pushed out the retention pin. I may have some photos of that process or video I'll try to show you. And now these are very squared away because now it has pressure. These paddles have not broken. You know, should they be a little bit longer? Yeah, I would like a stronger spring, and I'd actually like a milled aluminum mag lever Legacy, not the polymer. Polymer apparently works, but I would just feel better if it was 7000 series aluminum. That's just me. So let's listen to the retention on the carbine. I put it in all the way there. It's decent. It's good. So lightweight, yes, it's going to be a polymer trigger guard. I've always said I have no problems with those at all. Some guys want steel or metal. I don't care. Especially if I'm carrying it. If you're carrying it and say, hey dude, I'll meet you on the mountaintop, I say rock on. I want a steel bottom metal on my rifle. Light tactical for these guns with the Legacy Sports conversion. And I don't know if you noticed from the catalog, it's not just for the Weatherby Vanguard, it fits the Howa 1500, SW 1500, Mossberg, blah, 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 all the 1500 series of rifles. In a lot of ways, in fact, this review is going to play for the Howa series of rifles because I think they're made in the same factory. These are Japanese-made rifles, very high quality. And this is dated when? This is 2013. Okay, cool. Usually my catalog's like several years old, sorry. I really like that one, the Target Master, but I don't know if that's super light. That's going to have the Hogue rubberized stock on it, fluted barrel, 20-inch it looks like. 3-position safety. It's going to be very similar to the, again, these rifles are almost identical. They just have different looks. Night Eater, and all these models will change over time. I think the Hogue and the Vanguard are just basically the same rifle. There's going to be some looks differences, and that's it. Let's go into the Weatherby catalog, actually, and we'll take a look at the differences of the Series 2. And I guess before I do that, I probably ought to go point by point on these rifles to show you how they once were. And perhaps you'll run into a Series 1 Vanguard for a good price on the used market, and you'll go, hey man, you know, that's a good rifle. And it really is. I'm going to start off with a Carbine, which is my favorite. I'll just say it right off. The Carbine in the Weatherby Vanguard, I just love. You're going to see why. One, it's very short, it's very handy, and it's very light at 7 pounds. That's cool. In this version, it had just a polymer stock, no rubber inserts, the high comb, as you can see, a very excellent recoil pad. I bet you that's made by Packmeyer for Weatherby. I think it is. I read their catalog, but I forget. The checkering is outstanding. Great grip. Full pistol grip on this. And for prep on this Duracoat, you can watch all my old Duracoat videos. The process hasn't changed. I sanded this, I think, and used steel wool for preparation. Not on the checkering. I just degreased that portion and shot it. And then it has kind of a flat bottom forend. Not really a beaver tail. They're not free-floated. There's actually a pressure pad right here on the barrel, and that's not a showstopper, and you should say as much as well. A lot of guys, well, is it free-floated? And I'm like, well, you can't shoot that good anyhow, so what's it matter? Well, you know, I have to shoot a quarter MOA. Well, most guys can't, especially when we're under stress out here in TMP. From what I'm seeing, they can't, so it doesn't really matter that much, does it? Now, I do like a 1 MOA rifle. That's kind of my standard. I think that's pretty, I don't know, accepted across industry. Whatever. Okay, so this is, I'm trying to look at my notes, the contour of this barrel. It's a #1 contour on the Series 1 Vanguard. And you can look, it's just a rounded crown. It's not recessed, a la Target-wise. I know what you're thinking. I wish that was threaded. And you know what? You're absolutely right. I couldn't agree more. Hey, Vanguard, Series, Weatherby, thread these guns. If this carbine was threaded and it had a somewhat thicker barrel, fluted, so the weight stays roughly the same, dude, you're talking Hall of Fame gun right there, because then I can run a can on this sucker. As it is, I can't thread this. This is too thin of a barrel. I just don't have the steel to do it. Okay, and then the trigger, we'll talk about that in ergonomics here. Here comes a rifle. I really love the stock. And this was actually a once upon a time they did the Weatherby Vanguard sub MOA version, which was not cheap, I'll tell you that. TMP spent like $750 on this gun from Gallery of Guns. That is the website you're familiar with. So it wasn't cheap. And the funny thing is you'll see in accuracy, it shoots slightly worse than the carbine. What? Yeah, I'm looking through the catalog. I don't see the sub-MOA version. I think they're guaranteeing all their Vanguards now to be sub-MOA, so that's cool. But we're talking about the stock. This is very, not Hogue-like, but very Macmillan-like. It's actually a fiberglass stock. Once upon a time, I took it apart a lot, but I don't really remember if it has a V-block running down it. I don't think so, because this one isn't free-floated either. There's a pressure pad right there. But I love the stock in that it's tough, it's rugged. It doesn't have checkering, but that's pretty standard for a fiberglass stock. It has stippling, and I did kind of reduce the traction of that stippling by the Duracoat. You'll always do that if you coat your guns, be advised. And I'm concentrating on stock because the Series 2, there's a lot of stock changes and trigger changes. Now this one has a 24-inch barrel, and both of them are cold hammer forged, made in Japan. This is a 1 in 10 twist, so is the other one. #2 contour here. Now with current technology, you're not going to have a light tactical rifle without having a thinner barrel, because this is where a lot of your weight is right here. You can get a lot from this stock too, but a lot's right here. Now we have seen exceptions to the rule, like the Christensen arms, but dang, those are expensive. Those are $3,000 guns. And we've shot them here in TMP. Go check out my review of the Carbine Extreme 2. They shot great, but do you have $3,000, $4,000 for a bolt gun? Yeah, me either. So let's go in the catalog now. That's just a quick down and dirty of the Series 1. The Series 2, I think, came out like, I don't know, 2012 or something. The rundown on the features or the changes goes as follows. The barrel's the same. It's still cold hammer forged. They did change the stock. And I'll just tell you, I'm not super stoked about any rubber inserts on stocks. I've said that before in other reviews, like the Remington SPS. It does the same thing. There's several reasons why. One, if I decide to coat the rifle, I can't coat those rubber pads. It just doesn't work. They're going to come peeling off. But more importantly, I think it just is grabby. It grabs clothing, and it's just not needed. You checker a stock like this, it's plenty of traction. And yet, they're always trying to differentiate their guns, make them competitive, make them interesting to the buyers. And so they're going to change them up once in a while, and this is what Series 2 has. Has the inserts. And I have checked these guns out extensively in person. They're cool. Same recoil pad. It's excellent. Low density, soft rubber, blah, blah, blah. You saw how I taped that one, so it doesn't grab as you bring it up. Lock it into your shoulder. Changes on the trigger. That is a good thing for the Series 2. Match quality 2-stage trigger is creep-free for consistent let-off. Each trigger is hand-honed, factory-tuned, and inspected for a clean, crisp break. Competition is tough when you talk about a trigger on a bolt-action gun. I mean, you got Savage Axis. You got Ruger American. Both those have amazing triggers. Pretty much all of the bolt-action guns now are running really good triggers, but it's taken us a long time to get to this point, wouldn't you say? Long time. 3-position safety. Fully adjustable down to 2.5s. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. I've said that before on another review, specifically the Remington. Their X Mark Pro or whatever they call it. I mean, I was not able to get it to 2.5 pounds, but this one you could. I didn't test it because I didn't test the Series 2. I assume it's going to be better than what we have here. So let's talk about that real quick. So on the Series 1, let's look at the rifle first. And I won't go long on this because I'm talking the trigger discussion because the Series 2 is out now. But let's just pull it and see what it does. I think if memory serves is under 5 pounds. Actually, that's not the stock trigger. The Carbine has one. The Carbine is stock. What do you think? What do you think? Now, if you've been really alert in this video, you'll know that's not the stock trigger. That's actually a Timney trigger that I installed. And it's excellent. There's a couple advantages by putting this in. One is you get a rounded safety knob. Is it that big of a deal? Not really. But it's like the Remington 700. It's just more ergonomic. I like it better. But more importantly, you get just an amazing trigger. Witness. And I know the Timney's adjustable to whatever you want. Well, almost whatever you want. Clear, clear. 2 pounds, 7 ounces. Hey, Nut Fancy, do you like a trigger that light? Absolutely, I do. With a guy who's not practiced or used to shooting, I don't know, under stress, absolutely not. But for me, absolutely. I mean, when we shot these guns out to 750 yards in the testing phase, both of them, and they did quite well. And just the slightest amount of trigger goofiness, we'll call it, will throw your shot. Talked about that a lot. So absolutely. Timney trigger, I'm going to give it huge thumbs up, but it's more money. Back to the Series 2, you probably don't have to do anything with a trigger now. I love that. I think that's a sum total of the differences. Everything else is the same. The bolt's the same, the bolt knob, the whole action is the same. And let's go through the models real quick. I was going to do, there's a, oh, I love this one. This is a backcountry Series 2, and philosophy of use discussion is still continuing somewhat. Hunting rifle, obviously. This one weighs an amazing 6 pounds, 6 3/4 pounds. It's a fluted barrel, as you can see. That does save a little bit of weight. It's a freaking 24-inch barrel. I like that. Even though in .308 caliber, it's not really critical for velocity, but I don't know, man. If you lose 150 feet per second and you're shooting out to 800 yards with that round, you should take what you can get. Series 2 synthetic, that's basically this gun, just with a different stock. Varmint special, so it has a thicker barrel. Then they have one called the Zombie Annihilator. It's in like lime green and neon orange. I'm just kidding, they don't have that one. But I wouldn't be surprised if they come out with it. Who doesn't have a freaking zombie gun? I went to their website and had other models like the Cryptek. These are camouflage versions. The Hog Reaper. There's a synthetic youth model. And you can get these in all the other competition too. Then you have scoped packages. And they do have a detachable box magazine. So glad I remembered to talk about that. So this is Weatherby's magazine. It's probably produced in the same factory. It ain't no 10 rounder though like that. Damn. Firepower, bolt action rifle for a magazine conversion. I forget exactly what they cost, but I'd say like, I don't know, 85 bucks. The magazines are like 40 bucks. Yeah, I'm down. Then if you want to get traditional, beautiful. I actually, you know, grew up with not Vanguard, but Weatherby hunting guns. Dang, nutnfancy, what guns did you not grow up with? Exactly. You can thank my dad. He was a big Weatherby fan. Absolutely. Triggers are going to be an improvement. Let's look at the bolt real quick. I see no issues, really. You can see that it extends well enough. It's not going to fit that, what is that, the RG extended bolt knob. That's for a Remington 700 only. But it's really not obnoxious. By the way, it cocks on opening. These Vanguard series do. You can see it clears the scope bell, no problems, and it is smooth. I like that. There's a stock safety lever right there, and I sanded that and milled it with a bastard file. Bastard. So much better because it has some freaking sharp edges on that thing. But that's the safety I prefer on all the bolt guns. I've said that. Savage runs it right here on the tank. I can deal with that as well. Not a fan of the Mauser safety. Sorry. A la Ruger. Can't do it. Materials and quality. You know, I wouldn't say that it stands out better than any other bolt action rifles because they're so good these days. You know, the competition is so good. They're all using these amazing materials. I mean, you can go out now for $300, $400 and get a 1 MOA shooter. It may not be the most beautiful pride of ownership rifle out there, but it freaking works. One other philosophy of use I'm going to say is flamethrower. Because dang does this spit out a fireball. 20-inch barrel. I'll show you video that hopefully captures that over the years because we ran this sucker in Sledgehammer. And it was a riot, which is another philosophy of use, recreational gun. Good luck paying for it though. Talking the ammo, it is expensive. If you can find it. If you reload, more power to you, love it. But you'll still have to find those components and find the time to reload. I don't have it. I don't have it. So hunting rifle, like tactical, recreational, flamethrower. I'm kidding about the flamethrower thing, kind of. We have fun in these reviews, what can I say? I talked about the weight, balance, and fuel. You can look up the specs if you want more than that. Man, do we shoot these guns a lot. I bet you we took, between these two guns, 10 outings. I would say over 500 rounds fired. Around there. I don't keep track, but that's just what I'm going to say. Ballparking it. How about accuracy?
Yeah, that magazine
It's kind of a fun review, by the way. I'm digging it.
10 rounds.
Well, let's go back in the time machine, as I stupidly say. I had one. I'm just going to go in any order. Here we go. This is a Vanguard Carbine. This is my favorite gun, and this is why. It shot into 1 inch with PMC ammo. This gun. Several times it did it. Now, these groups technically are probably just over 1 inch, but it's close enough for me. With PMC is not the most consistent ammunition out there. You guys know that, right? Look at that group. That group. This one, I'm not sure what happened. That one sucked. I did it fast because I got like a crap load of targets. Which, by the way, when you order from our web store, if you order like our t-shirts, our hats, and I think Doodle is reordering that stuff, by the way. It's there at the top of the screen. If you put in a big order or you donate, we try to throw in a signed target. And some other goodies here and there. There you go. So they're not thrown in the garbage. They're sent to you guys. Free of charge. There's a nice group. I have a flyer in that one. That's a 4-shot group. And this is the full size. So this is this gun, the rifle, the synthetic Vanguard, Series 1. Hunting Shack ammo, 168 grain match. It's okay. And honestly, that's what that shoots out of every gun that shoots it well. We're looking at an 1.5-inch group there. There's another inch, 1.5 inch. No, it's about just over 1 inch on that one. Group there. Here we go. Freaking 2009. Dang, I meant to do the review back then. Happens. XM762 shooting well out of the gun. That's that really now gone federal load. really well. There's an inch group there. There's my hand loads. And fancy, you say you did not have time to hand load. I don't. But back in 2009, I was hand loading. It was before TMP took like way off, and I was like, I think I'll hand load. Hey, there's my hand loads right there.
Huh, that's weird.
Not bad. Doable. I better go faster. Here's the Carbine. This one kind of fell apart. That's a big group. There's Cellar and Bellet. Great 308 if you can find it. Good luck. I don't even think it's being imported anymore. 150 grains soft point. That's Hornady Premium. PMC not really going into a great group there. Ultramax. I wish I had about a bazillion rounds of that Ultramax. It shot so well. It was remanufactured ammo. Weatherby Vanguard Carbine. This is in 2011. Dang, we go all over the place. 150 grain FMJ. Yep. Oh, look at that. Federal gold medal match. Probably my overall favorite 308 round. Again, I wish I had a bazillion rounds of that one. PMC going wide there. Gold medal match. Look at that. And that was with a hot barrel. So in case you're wondering, in the philosophy of use, like tactical, what if I have to burn through 2 mags, Nut and Fancy? How will it group? You're looking at it. Out of this gun, out of that gun, every gun's an individual. I can't guarantee you'll get that type of accuracy. Depends how you shoot. Gold medal match here kind of opened up a little bit. I'm not going to say that it won't wander. When you get your barrel hot, it will wander. Weatherby Vanguard Carbine, 2012. This is gold medal match again. I was having a good time. I just got kind of carried away. Ultramax shooting into easily an inch. XM80 not quite as consistent as the other one. It's 149 grain. 7.6251 load. And I really didn't see a big difference between 308 and 7.6251. These are chamber for 308 in case you wonder. American Eagle shooting into a freaking inch. This gun I absolutely love. It's light. It swings fast. Super portable. It's got a flat forend that you can rest on barricades for drills and any other shooting rests you can find. And it's just supremely accurate. I love it, love it. Downsides, it's no threaded barrel. Okay, that's kind of a downside. And it will throw a fireball, which could reveal your location depending on who and what you're doing. This one's running a Harris bipod. This is actually shot not in Duracoat, but Alumahide from Brownells. Yeah, this gun's excellent too, and I really love the color combination. And I didn't really talk about the scope. I'll do that now. This is a Nikon Monarch series scope. I forget the power range. Like 2.5 to 14. And in order to keep that really low to the bore, I'm running American Rifleman aluminum rings. You've seen them a lot. And these will take Remington 700 bases, if I'm not mistaken. The Vanguard series will. And I think that is a Night Force 2-piece with MOA built into it, because like I said, we were shooting at long range. Especially if you use a 1-inch tube and you're spinning your dials and not shooting out of your reticle, you know, like a BDC reticle, you need to put some elevation in these suckers. I have that back one shimmed with some Burris scope-based shims. See that? I think these are tally rings right here, 1-inch. The scope here is a Weaver 6x24 milled dot, and it's lightweight and it works. Is this the best glass in the world? Nope. Ain't got the money for anything else. So, and it works fine. You know, field of view, absolute brightness. You're gonna have to pony up with some money. It's always about money, ain't it? How about competition? There's a lot of great competition. I think I've said that cleanly throughout the video. You've got the Savage Axis, the Ruger American, the Remington SPS, the Browning X Bolt, the Howa 1500 series of rifles, and on the list goes. They're all excellent. I've reviewed some of them. Field strip, by the way, I forgot to say this. It's Simple Simon. Instead of pulling the trigger, you have a dedicated field strip release right there. Just pull your bolt out like so, and voila. There's your bolt, by the way. Double lugs, M16 style extractor. There's your ejector. I think the ejection and the extraction on this was pretty good. However, there was one problem, and we're going to go into durability, reliability here. While shooting this rifle here on the table, we were shooting, I think, at around 400 yards or so from the top of the ridge. I'm going to show you the video if I can find it. I got to search like a lot of hard drives to find it. And the bolt comes flying out of the back of the gun. What? Yeah, that's what I said. It turns out that there is a retention screw on the back of these Vanguard series rifles that when, you know, in my vigorous manipulation of the bolt, must have fatigued and it popped, it broke. And so in these series 1 rifles, it was gone. Bye-bye. The gun was pretty much inoperable at that point. I know, that sucks. I was very unhappy about it too. I called not Vanguard, but Weatherby about it, and eventually I got a part from them. They were very nice, but it wasn't like really quick. It took like 2 months, and I finally got the replacement part. I don't think they had it because they had to order it from Japan. I told them it is a design flaw. You need to strengthen that. I hope they did that. I hope they did that in the Series 2 rifle, because that's not good. Notice, by the way, with that safety on, it does lock the bolt, in case you're wondering. So what we're talking about is something, that retention screw that holds that bolt in. Got to tell you that. Other than that, I don't think you're going to have any issues. Reliability, durability. Things you learn in the Nut and Fancy project, right? I mean, this is something you just don't learn unless you shoot the gun the way we do it, tactically.
Weatherby Vanguard sub MO.
What's the cost on these? I think around, I ain't even going to say. You guys look it up, because it's always changing. Is it worth it? Would you buy it again? Absolutely. With this. When we talk about accessories, it really doesn't need much. I mean, you're going to need glass, scope, bases. If you want to run a Harris or other bipod on it, obviously you can get that. If you want to run a Timney trigger, awesome. But I think the new Series 2, once again, are so outstanding, you don't have to do that. They're excellent. The Legacy Sports magazine conversion is a must-have if you live in a locality where it's going to be legal. If you don't, maybe you still need to get it. Oh, excuse me. It's awesome. Highly recommended this series. Yes, there was a malfunction with that bolt or that screw shearing off. But honestly, dudes, I see it with pretty much every gun I shoot. Almost every brand has had problems here in TMP. If it's going to break, we'll break it. Trust me, that's why you're watching. A no BS, totally truthful, logical review. This is a Nut and Fancy project. This has been my review on the Weatherby Vanguards, both Series 1 and Series 2 for that matter. They're very similar to the also excellent Howa series of rifles. Thanks for watching. See you later. Happy shooting. Join the NRA. Stay a member of the NRA.